Yes.
I have a question that referred in reference to the 8-period day. I don't even know why Mr. Davidson asked that question, but say it was the burning question in the community about the schools. And you said that you would rely on your educational experts to guide you. Well, what, and this is for any of the board members, what would you do if all the educational experts said the 8-period day is what we want, but the community as a whole said that's not what we want? What do you think your job is as a board member?
Can you repeat that question or statement?
He is asking that, going back to the question about the 8-period day, if the experts that Rick suggested we would talk to recommended that, but the community wasn't supportive of that, what would you do?
You know, I keep trying to keep in mind the role of the board member is to represent all students, and I think if there's, you know, studies out there, I know that when I was in graduate school, block scheduling was really popular with a lot of teachers. I think it's kind of a good reason for me that block scheduling really worked and teachers liked it. If there is, you know, if there are studies out there, if there is data that says that 8 periods work better, if the community has a better argument, fine, but I think what it comes down to is if it works better for the students, for all students, then you go with that, whether it's a popular decision in the community or not. I think that's what our role has to be. And I think teachers would be the best way to do that.
I think we have some work to do in, as I said, engaging the public, parents, community, so that when the experts come along with the rationale for why one way is better than the other, that we already are in a collaborative mode with those people, and then we can understand each other and perhaps reach accord. I mean, I'm always looking for ways to reach peace, mediation-wise, but I think we have to establish the relationship that we can engage people and get the buy-in for what the experts say is good, if we believe along with the experts.
The question always in my mind is, who are the experts? We're talking about education. Experts change every day. It depends on who wrote the last thesis for their doctorate. As a consequence, do we need to look into this? Certainly we need to look into it. But see, it's a problem of communications. As long as I've wondered about what happened out there at the campus, I never heard anybody say one word till tonight. And it's odd that one of the board members could explain it tonight. But I didn't know what it was for 3 years. It's communication. It's your teaching staff. Have you gone to teaching staff and said, is this a good way to go? Or do we go to some administrator and say, would you put a program together for us? I don't know. People don't understand that sometimes. I'm opinionated. I have opinions. But I'm the first one to tell you I don't know, because I'm not on the inside. I'm on the outside, just as most parents are. And until I ask or question, you very seldom know the answer.
First point of clarification, the experts I'm talking about are the ones that we have here, our administrators and our school teachers. Secondly, to answer your question directly, I think what you're looking for is, am I willing to make an unpopular decision? If all the data, all the reasoning, all the argument that they're giving me, if it's a consensus, first of all, it's scary. But if the overwhelming weight said that 8 periods is the way to go, I'm going to do my own research at that point from what they gave me. And if I truly believe that is going to be the best for the kids, I will make the unpopular decision going against what most of the community is telling me. But going hand in hand is I will be out there every day, every time I run into someone at the grocery store, every time I run into them downtown at work or at a restaurant. I'll tell them exactly what I did, and I'll be happy to share information with them. A small story is I was in the Worthington school system, north end of Columbus, landlocked area. 1980s saw an incredible boom. At 18 years, 1998, you started to see a drastic downshift in loss of student enrollment. The elementary school that my daughter was going to sat next to another elementary school, and that's how quickly the growth occurred. It was a small school that could accommodate 200. The one next door, Liberty, could accommodate 450. That Board of Education, it was found out they were thinking about closing Sutter Park, the one that my child went to. Every parent was screaming. You know, that's the newer one, small class sizes, which is why we were screaming. But I will tell you, in hindsight, they did close it. And if I take my parent hat off and I put my school board hat on, it was the right decision. It was the right decision fiscally for the school board in a shrinking enrollment environment.
Other questions? Yes.
Good evening. My name is Steve Pulch. I'm a product of the Findlay City School System, and I survived. And this was the late 60s and early 70s, so that's more of a boast than you may imagine. Not so much a question as maybe a couple challenges for those of you on the board and those of you pursuing the board. First to Mr. Paul, with all due respect, sir, I was here during your tenure, and you referenced to history and the success of us educating our masses. And I challenge you, sure, that we have not been successful at educating our masses. If you look at our society and our economy, we are in a downward spiral. At the same time, if we pursue teaching to the lowest common denominator, we will achieve just that, the lowest common denominator. On another note, I would ask the board and the prospective board members that when seeking outside advice, you look to the local community first. There is nothing more frustrating to a resident to have an outside contractor called in to make decisions in our community or to affect those making decisions in our community. And I would appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Rod, in that I was mentioned in his presentation, I think I first of all, one of my masters is in history, and I did spend some time teaching in the classroom and studying the educational systems of other countries. And this is not putting anybody down or talking anybody down. The only thing I know is that I think probably the country we live in is one of the greatest in the world, if not the greatest. And I think a big part of that has been the fact that going all the way back to one-room schoolhouses, we have made an honest attempt to educate everybody. And we don't see that. We're not competing against that when we talk about competing against other countries. You don't have to go any further than Europe. You get to the 8th grade, and if you aren't one of the top students, you're looking for a job. And if you go to the Asian countries, you may not even get that far. So we're comparing their top student against all of our students. That's the same thing we're doing in our testing programs when we give them these standardized tests. And I'm saying that I don't believe in that. I think we are a great country, and I think we have great educational systems, and I think we've proven it over the years in history. My opinion.